Good morning from New York. It's just after 8 o'clock here on Saturday of Labor Day weekend. Shaping up to be another beautiful day here on the Appalachian Trail. Spent the night at the William Brien shelter area. And nothing eventful. Good night's sleep. Mostly quiet for a big group of younger hikers who, well, I don't want to get onto the get off my lawn thing, but sometimes you want to hit like 9 o'clock. You want it to be like hiker midnight so you can get to sleep and get off to an early start. So it does keep you a little up, but it is what it is. We all want to enjoy it our own way. So the idea today is go about 16 and a half miles. In about 10, I should hit the Hudson River. And before that, the iconic BAUER Mountain, which should be loaded with tourists, I would think, if it's not closed because of the flooding, with just because we're about an hour from New York City and it's Labor Day weekend. So should see some people there. But the Hudson River is the lowest elevation on the entire AT. So there's a bit of a milestone, I guess. So a couple of ups and downs before that. There is a detour ahead that 2022 and 2023, the ATC has rerouted it so you don't have to go across the Palisades Parkway. It's a busy road. We'll see. It maybe adds a little mileage. But anyway, the idea is to go, again, about 16 and a half, past a couple of cool benchmarks. And I have some thoughts on the New York section of trail thus far. I'll share with you a little later on. There is the mighty Hudson. Oh, wow. How about that? A skyline. And it seems like we're a world away up here. I talked about benchmarks that you hit almost on every AT trip. Talked about the Hudson River that's coming up. But here's a milestone for a lot of the thru hikers. 1,400 miles. That means they've got about 800 miles left to get to Mount Katahdin in Maine, with the trail being about 2,200. So if you're a thru hiker and you've been here, hey, take a load off. Congratulations. 1,400 miles. So I'm at a crossroads, literally. There's a sign behind me where two trails cross. If you look there, there's the AT. It is supposed to keep heading down that way. Towards the east, towards the Palisades Parkway, which you have to cross. It's 2 full lanes of traffic. The last couple of years, though, at least this year for sure, but I think last year too, somebody got hit by a car crossing. So they the ATC decided to change things. So I get that a little brighter. No. So there's this detour I got to follow. It adds some miles, but typically, you know, yeah, we are here. And you typically go up here, go up West Mountain, and then, yeah, you just kind of keep following that, the AT all the way up to Bear Mountain. But now, since we're here, we're supposed to take this little trail up here, circle back, so it adds some mileage. I don't think it's going to be hard mileage, but it does keep you from crossing this big Palisades Interstate Parkway. So safety is probably the most important thing. I have heard, you know, they also shut it down because all the rain and horrible weather they had earlier in the summer here, which flooded things out, but there's a lot of obstacles and stuff. I've heard most of that is cleaned up, and if you look at the far ride app, a lot of people say, hey, just do the regular one, it saves you the mileage. But my concern is this bad boy is going to be the official trail going forward, because I think once somebody gets hit by a car, that may do it. So I'm going to continue just to make sure I have credit for the right one, and this is in 2023, this is the route, so I'm going to be official with it and add the miles, and we'll see where it goes. All right, I'm on the detour. Palisades Parkway. I have an unmarked water source here. I'm gonna try it because I'm about out. I think I've seen some other YouTube videos. People have seen this thing was on. I'm assuming it's potable. Doesn't say that do not drink, but let's see what we got. Oh, the nectar of the gods. Ah, fucking brilliant. All right. All right, let's taste this. A little metallic, but probably safe. I'll use it just in case I run out. My other bottle is getting a little low. Let's go ahead and take this just in case. Yeah, this is where I'm at, and I got a Bear Mountain to still climb here, so good to have a backup water source now. You're looking at the summit of Bear Mountain. That's my next waypoint, really. Gonna go down a little bit, then I'll start heading up the big climb. Well, this isn't good. AT closed, alternate route, 7 Lakes Drive. Keep out, extreme caution. And then I gotta do a road walk to go around it, right? I checked the app, and most people are saying that the trail is just fine. The fact that I'm about out of water, I do not want a road walk in the sun. So, but a lot of the comments are the trail is just fine. It's actually lovely and not a lot of people. So I'm gonna continue on, even though it says keep out. I don't think there's an arresting officer here. Maybe I should keep this video from being posted, but that's the way I feel about it on this one. Some of the trail washout. Hence the danger. Why the trail is officially closed. I'd be here on a bad weather day, but today it's just hot and humid. And it's gonna keep plugging up Bear Mountain. All right, let's continue the ascent to the stairway to heaven. Well, I think the real stairway to heaven outside of Led Zeppelin is actually in New Jersey, but that's what we'll call it. As long as it doesn't end me to end up at Mount Doom. We'll be good. Ah, the best seat in the house.
Half of the time we're gone, we don't know where, and we don't know where.
We're 4/10 of a mile from the top of Bear Mountain, and then the view. Looking north along the mighty Hudson River. Fort Montgomery is the town you see below. Beyond that is Highland Falls. And then West Point a little further down. Hey, buddy. And they're off. Saved by vending machines. A couple of cold bottles of water. The rest of the vending machines are empty, just water available. So it turns out that they just opened up Bear Mountain here to cars and bikes today because it's the Memorial Day weekend. I showed you the pictures of the trail closing signs, and a ranger just came up to me and asked if I saw them, which I can't lie, I saw them. And then I just referred to what I saw in the Far Out app, which has a number of really experienced hikers, and they've been coming through anyway, not being stopped because there's been nobody up here to stop them, and saying that the trail is safe enough. And so the ranger just stopped me and is prohibiting me from going further down the steep part down the rest of Bear Mountain. So I have to walk the road down anyway, and it's 85 degrees in the heat with low water. So there's danger in that too, not to mention cars and bikes flying by me, but it is what it is. I will follow the rules the rest of the way, and have to come back at some point and do the other half of the mountain. But made it to the top. There's the tower. So yeah, the bathrooms are closed. All you have is really porta potties, which are right back there. So I can't really fill up at a water spigot, which sucks. But once I make it down to the hill, there are some things I can do. But maybe I'll go over to the vending machine and get another. By the way, yeah, the only thing is water. Ice cream, Powerades, Cokes, all of that's sold out. So go figure. All right, cheers, guys. We'll see you at the bottom. Pretty view. All right, it's 3 o'clock here, Saturday, Labor Day weekend 2023. And since I've got a 2-mile road walk back down to the bottom of Bear Mountain, I figured I'd use that some time to vent and give you my thoughts on hiking in the first part of New York. Cars, motorcycles, and bikes going up and down still. Yet I am walking, going around hairpin turns, hoping not to get hit. So there's positives, obviously, and anytime you're on the AT, it's gonna supersede everything. The people that you meet, the locals especially, the trail angels here, and I'm talking specifically the section from the New Jersey border to the Hudson River, which is what I've been doing here this weekend. Good 45 mile section. All right, so trail angels, because the natural water sources are kind of thin here, especially in the summertime, there are trail angels, and I have in my other videos showing you video of the water bottles and coolers that are left for through hikers and section hikers that are coming through, which is just awesome, and it's a godsend. There's just the water that's left so far naturally has been very brackish. Yeah, if you got a filter, you can drink it. You can drink it. My bike went right through. You can drink the water, make it potable with your filter, but it's still not very tasty. And then you go to some that you think are reliable, like spigots that are supposed to be turned on in parks, and they're turned off. And that's the one thing. That's one thing that can really get you hurt, is dehydration. So, but I digress. So, the other thing is the shelters from the New Jersey border to the Hudson River. None of them have privies, which is basically an outhouse, like you see throughout most of the rest of the trail. It's sometimes it's an anomaly or whatever, or it's full, which is gross, but they don't even have them. And as somebody with an autoimmune inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis like me, that leads to some stress. So, I mean, I get around that by staying in a hotel if I need to, if I'm flaring or whatever. But the other issue is there's no picnic tables. And I understand why. I get the work that it takes to upkeep these things. The problem is when you're walking on the trail and you're seeing human feces and toilet paper right along the trail because there's nowhere else to go, that's a problem. And that ruins the experience for not just me, but for everybody. So you put privies in these shelters every 8 miles or so, then, okay, there's a place. You're supposed to, look, leave no trace. You are supposed to dig a cat hole. All right, that's what you got to do. People that are local, they're not true hikers, that are just out there and they got to go. They don't follow that principle, but it ruins it for a lot of other people. So not a good thing there. So I would suggest get with the program, build privies and a place to eat and congregate. The social aspect of these hikes is one of the best part. And you're just so dispersed. There are bear hangs, which is good for your food. I use a bear canister. It's heavier, but to me, it's more reliable. And then also just the difficulty. So, like the mile 5 to about mile 25, once you cross out of New Jersey into New York, a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because it's not like huge elevation gains and losses, but it's a lot of using your hands, climbing boulders, going through things, going through the lemon squeezer. Don't underestimate it if you come here. It slowed me down considerably. Normally I'm a 15 to 20 mile guy. It has been 10 to 15 tops on this trip. So actually 8 to 15. So that's a struggle. It's once you get into Harriman State Park, it opens up a little bit and a little more beautiful. But that's my thought. It's a beautiful trail here in New York. I would like to be able to do the other side of the Hudson. Maybe I do a little bit of that tomorrow before I leave, but that'll be it for another trip. All right, thanks for watching. It is hot. My puppies are barking. Done 2 miles down the windy road. Okay, I've had some time to think on this, what is going to be a 4.4 mile road walk from the summit of Bear Mountain down to the Bear Mountain Inn, where I can hop back on the AT. So on this trek down, pounding the pavement down this road, I'm not sure what the speed limit is, but I sure as hell know it should be a lot less, or people just aren't following it, because you've got all these jagoffs on their crotch rockets, their lowriders with the mufflers, trying to impress their girlfriends, hauling ass up and down this road. I've nearly been hit twice. I am waving my, and look, there's a decent sized median here. You can see it, right? Not a median, decent sized shoulder. There's also bicyclists. So this last section, 2.4, from where the trail is officially detoured and closed, all right, 2.4 mile road walk. I will guarantee you is more dangerous than some down trees or some mudslides or whatever, because somebody's going to get hurt or killed. Not just the hikers, but people in the cars swerving off the road to have dodged somebody. You're worried about liabilities and things. Good Lord, man. So I got a couple of solutions for you. One, make people sign a waiver. That waiver's got to be on file before they arrive at Bear Mountain State Park. They know what they're getting into. They understand the risks. I can tell you most seasoned hikers and backpackers aren't going to have a problem with that. And then you've absolved yourself of any liability. The other option is a shuttle. And I know that's manpower and tax dollars. But you cannot have people walk 2.4 miles on a freaking road like this with cars flying by. Your liability is higher with that. Or at least the publicity you're going to get when somebody gets hurt, maimed, or killed. So that is all I got to say about that. And I quote the late, great Lieutenant Daniels from The Wire.
This is bullshit.
This is pretty nice. Nice park. Everybody celebrating the Labor Day weekend. There's a look back up at Bear Mountain. 4.4 miles by road. Like a mile and a half by trail, FYI. Hence why I wasn't in the best of moods. It's a lake up here. Take a look at that and then figure out what I'm gonna do for the night. All right, here's where I would have come out of the woods. And now I follow the lake, head towards the bridge. A couple other nice views here. Let's see. There is a zoo that you're supposed to walk through. I don't know if that is open. We will find out. Hessian Lake. And there's a double blaze, meaning we got to turn. Makes me miss home. Everybody out with their families. Yep, Labor Day weekend. A lot of stuff going on.